Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Bay Show with Byron and Eric, Sunday edition. We got a good show in store for you. We got a 12-year NFL vet, now broadcasting games for the New York Giants, spent his whole entire career there, Howard Cross. And we are going to be talking with, you say the name.
Former colleague, Devin Stopford. He's got some strong opinions towards NASCAR and kind of the direction they're heading. So we're going to have him join the show and, kind of have a little debate, because I think the show, it was set off to kind of have opinions, sometimes have strong opinions, and just talk and kind of have a dialogue going. So that's what we'll do. We'll give Devin a call here pretty soon. So if you are watching, Devin, we'll give you a buzz here real soon.
Definitely. So a couple of stories we can talk about. We got some. I want to talk about the biggest one, and we got into talking about this before. Aaron, we are both in agreement. We are both baseball fans and will be, but right now it's ridiculous.
Well, will be. I'm getting fed up. Like it's. If there, I'll be honest. If there's no baseball this year because they can't come to an agreement, it's great. Take a big hit in my eyes as a baseball fan.
Same. It's going to lose a lot of fans.
It's going to lose me to a degree. It really will. I mean, I'm a diehard. I mean, anyone that knows me knows that. Like,
yeah, that's what I am. Yeah,
that's the first thing they talk about is how he likes Rays baseball and just baseball in general. It'll take a big hit for me. It will.
And well, for me too. Baseball is my number one sport I go to any other sport. And for the casual fan, though, it's going to lose a lot of people this. And I gotta say, owners, you made the players this way. You made the players this way by having no salary cap in baseball. You proposed that in a bargaining agreement. So you made the players this way, and why they are turning down your offers that are ludicrous, because you promised back in March, you promised them, even if the season was shortened, that you had a shortened season, 50 games or whatever, you would still give them a prorate salary of 100%, which is what they want, because they were promised that by you freaking owners. So get off your lazy asses and pay the players what they deserve. Let them get on the field and play. You're doing it's a total distrust, and I don't blame the players for distrusting the owners right now. It's ridiculous. Go for what you're promised.
Yeah, you're talking about multi-billion-dollar owners who have too much control. Look, they're owners, but it's hard to be on the side of the owners here. It really is.
And the sad part is, they're making it look like it's the freaking players' fault.
Right. They come out with Trevor Bauer, who was probably one of the smarter and most opinionated players each week. He's week. I follow him on Twitter.
Because, so do I.
Basically he said, well, the proposal that came out Friday was exactly the same thing. Numbers wise, it was just worded differently.
Yeah.
So it's like, and like, what are you going to think, like they're dumb enough to accept it then?
Right.
No, I mean, just the audacity of proposing a second proposal that was exactly the same line of the first one that was denied, to make it look like the owners are doing something and it's the players who are denying it and not having baseball. You can't do that.
And you know the sad part is, as we talked about, Eric, you and I have talked about this numerous amount of freaking times. The owners are getting their share of money from revenue, from the TV. All these teams have a market. That's what these networks pay for, is to broadcast these
baseball
games.
Teams, no matter if you're talking about the most wealthiest of the Yankees or the one of the more poor ones like the Rays and Marlins, Major League teams are profiting. It's still one of the more profitable businesses to get into.
Exactly.
Take the Rays, for example. When Sternberg bought them what, 12, 13 years ago. He bought them for roughly 400 million.
Yeah.
400 million, and now they're valued at, I think, right around $1 billion.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's more than double.
They're getting all their revenue from the TV contracts.
Yeah, TV revenue.
It's ridiculous that they can't. They're not willing to pay the players what they promised.
Yeah, the MLB just came with that $1 billion
thing. Yeah, with TNT,
with Turner. Yeah.
So you're going to pay the network, but yet you can't pay your own players. What you promised them, like, really? Like, come on.
And it's going to show, like, if there's no baseball, like, look, the players make the game. The players make the money for the owners. And the owners are not going to, I guess the owner's argument is they're not profiting without fans in the stands either.
Oh, boo-hoo. But there's enough with revenue from the people watching with the ratings.
Yes, there is plenty of revenue there.
I'm not buying any of that with the owners, what they're spewing.
MLB it's like a drop in the bucket of what they would lose probably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They wouldn't lose anything. Wow, yeah. Whoop-de-doo. Fans in the seats. Whoop-de-doo. You're still getting ratings, tons of ratings on TV, because you know tons of people are going to watch. All of America's going to watch.
Yeah, it's going to turn off a lot of fans. It is, like I said, it's going to turn me off to a degree. It will.
And then for MLB to freaking put out this statement Saturday saying they're disappointed that the MLBA has chosen not to act in good faith. Like, what? What? Like, more disdain for the players to have for you owners. Like, really? Come on, Manfred. I know the owners work for you, but step up for your damn players. Step up. Be a damn commissioner.
Yeah.
Do what Adam Silver's doing. I'm not an NBA fan. I do watch the NBA at times, yes, for like the finals and all that. But look what he's doing for the players. He's a players commissioner.
Yeah.
Batman. He's the same way with NHL.
Yeah, MLB's always going to be different. It's going to be, and it's.
And now you have Goodell who's switching too, to basically being players now with all this stance going on. He's now going to that too.
Right.
He's now taking a stand up against owners.
Yeah.
Especially with that video that came out, last week or something that he made? Did you see that video?
I don't think I did.
Yeah. He made a very...
Oh, that one with all the players in it?
No. That was by one of the media members close in the NFL organization.
Okay. I didn't see
Goodell, and after that came out, after that surfaced, he made a video talking about what's going on right now, saying that he apologizes for everything that's going on, like, and all that, and that the NFL does not condone racism.
Well, I mean, what else is he going to say? I mean, I don't think Goodell's the best commissioner or.
No, but at least he went up against. He didn't. When he made that, he didn't care what the 32 owners said, because from what I heard, he didn't contact any of the owners to tell them that he was doing that.
No, I hear you.
So.
Yeah.
Now MLB. Now that you got all these commissioners standing up for players, you, Manfred, need to grow a pair and man up and defend your players.
We'll leave it at that. I can't come with more passion than what you just showed. I agree. Well said, Byron.
You should be just as pissed as I am as a loyal baseball fan, because you're getting robbed of your season tickets. You're getting robbed of that.
Yeah.
You don't even know if you're going to get a refund either.
Well, they did stop the. I think they'll be. I think I'll be fine. That's not a concern. But I saw a tweet today. Would have been the 73rd game of the season.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah.
Halfway through the year.
They'd be hosting Baltimore right now. Or I guess this afternoon they would have.
And the All-Star game would have been creeping up right now.
Yeah, it's second week in July.
In Anaheim this year.
Okay.
In the home run derby.
Yeah, all that.
Oh my God. Owners.
Let's give Devin a call.
Yes, please, before the owners piss me off even more.
So we're giving Devin a call. We're gonna talk some NASCAR.
Hello.
Hey, Devin, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on?
It's going pretty good over here. How are things with you?
I'm hanging in there.
So I saw you got your own show going. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I do my show. It's called Devon's All Sports Talk, and I do it on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 9 p.m. And I discuss pretty much all sports: NASCAR, WWE, AEW, UFC, just to name a few.
Sure. Great stuff. So, yeah, we primarily wanted to get you on the call to talk some NASCAR. We kind of saw some of your social media posts, and it seems you have a strong opinion on the way NASCAR is in the direction they're going. So, wanted to get you on. This is a show where we can kind of talk some topics and have some opinions. So, so kind of get right into it. What's your take on this whole direction NASCAR is taking?
I think they're going downhill fast, honestly. It's just like, okay, with all the new rules and the changes to it, I think that they're going to be dropping off pretty fast.
Okay, so I was watching your show Saturday, and when you talked about, the whole national anthem part, you kept saying why NASCAR? So I guess my question to you, why do you feel the need that people who take a knee during a national anthem in NASCAR is a bad thing?
I personally believe that you should stand for the anthem. In other words, should stand. And allowing that, I think it just destroys the sport and what they were doing with the sport, with the flag, with the national anthem. I think it makes them look even worse than what they should look.
Okay, so what was I going to say? I was going to say something else there.
The Confederate flag.
Yeah, so banning of the Confederate flag. What you're against that?
I'm not against it, and I'm not for it. I feel like it's a part of NASCAR, so they should be able to raise the flag if they want to. My personal opinion, I've raised the flag. But
you do?
I think it has always been... What?
You raised the flag?
I would raise it. I mean, that's just me, though. Other people have...
So what does that mean to you?
Different feelings. Go ahead.
What does that mean to you, raising that flag?
What does that mean? To me, it's part of history that they can never take away.
Do you think raising that flag minimizes the other cause that you bring up with people kneeling for the United States flag? Do you think that minimizes the symbol of the U.S. flag?
No, I don't think it minimizes the symbol of that. I think that it's the way NASCAR history has gone with raising the flag.
Well, because those two flags, they fought against each other. So, historically, I can't see how you could be on both sides of the argument if you're so strong for having people stand during the U.S. anthem, but yet you can raise the Confederate flag, which was the enemy towards well, towards the United States?
I mean, if I were in somebody else's shoes, put it this way, I'd raise that flag. But that's up to them. I don't go to the racetrack with a flag. I'll go to the racetrack with an American flag. But they should have the right to raise that flag if they want to.
Okay, so
Does that make any sense?
yeah, that makes sense. So do you think people have the right to kneel during the anthem?
I mean, I don't personally like that, but it's their choice. I think that's going to take a lot of viewers away, though, from kneeling for the anthem if they were to show that on TV.
Okay, Byron, do you have anything?
I actually do, and this is why we have this show. It's to value other opinions, so we thank you that, you're entitled to it as an American right, which we all entitled are here. But I do gotta ask you, I didn't know until I looked it up. Do you know what the rebel flag or whatever Confederate, yeah. Do you know the real meaning behind of it, what it stands for?
No, not exactly.
Okay, well, what I read to believe is true. It was by the creator of the flag who created it in the Civil War times. He made the flag because he wanted to show that whites are superior over blacks. What is your take on that?
I don't feel like, to me personally, I don't feel like it's whites over blacks, because I'm trying to find the words to explain it. I think we're all equal. I think some people like the Confederate flag, some don't, and I respect their opinion on it. But I don't think that it means, what's the word I'm looking for, whites over black. I don't really feel that, or the blacks over white.
So you don't think that's why he made the flag, from what American history shows?
Exactly.
All right, so I guess we'll leave you with this. I think people could take a good message out of this and go, you talk about the right to people to fly that flag. I think there's a right for people to kneel during the anthem and not disrespect the flag at the same time. The United States flag, I should make that a point. So I think in conclusion here is having the right to do things that don't harm other people physically is a good thing. That is what the United States was at least supposed to be made for, land of the free. So I think there's a lot to be said to have that respect and that right to voice one's opinion. And if kneeling is a one way to show it, then that should be allowed. And I applaud NASCAR.
We're speaking of.
I mean, I don't.
Yeah, go ahead.
Disown NASCAR for that. I still watch my NASCAR. I still watch it as I got the race on in the background. That's not going to take away, because you're absolutely right. They do have a right to do that. And I won't command them as a person or whatever. But I've seen a lot of comments on my post to where they quit watching NASCAR over the Confederate flag and the kneeling. But me personally, I don't care if they do it. I'll still watch my NASCAR.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, so then I got to ask you this. So then do you think, since you have this strong stance on this, do you think it was fair that Bubba Wallace had this fair agreement with NASCAR that NASCAR you did this after he came out and said you need to get rid, ban the flags, ban the flag. Do you agree with that?
In a way, I do. In a way, I don't. I think NASCAR should have asked the whole entire everybody racing and the fans on what they wanted to see.
So you're saying fans want to see the Confederate flag? Is that what you're trying to say?
A lot of my friends quit watching over the Confederate flag. Which, if you're a true NASCAR fan, you'll watch it regardless of whether the Confederate flag is there or not.
Well, you could tell your friends. I do feel pity for them.
I same.
For
I sentiment that.
For feeling bad about a loser's flag that can't fly in a NASCAR event. They must live sucky. They must live horrible lives. If that's something that means a lot towards them. So, good.
Yeah.
I say good. Let's make NASCAR more inclusive. Let's move NASCAR forward, and let's move it to a new generation where there's new fans, there's more fans, there's different, different fans in NASCAR. And look, maybe I become a NASCAR fan now, and there might be millions of others who tune into it who would have never tuned into it. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I think time will tell if this is a good move for NASCAR. I think it is. For both things, banning that and also allowing people to peacefully protest. But we'll see. Yeah, time will tell.
Yeah, definitely. Time will tell exactly, see if it goes downhill or it brings it up.
Right.
So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
My personal opinion is going to bring it down, but I could be wrong.
We'll see. We'll get back with you in a few months, and maybe if NASCAR, maybe if things have changed, then get you back on the show.
All right, sounds good, man.
All right, D. Appreciate it. Have a good day. Good luck on your show, and have a good night.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck with your show.
Thank you, bye.
All right.
Yeah, no problem.
No problem.
Bye. That was Devin Stopford.
Yep.
Stopford.
Very strong opinion. That's why we had him on. I'm glad he voiced his opinion. He's allowed to have it, entitled as in.
I think it was. I think there was a lot of inconsistencies there that I think I tried to.
No. I know, but at least he valued his opinion. Because he looked. He saw it. He saw it from both ways a little bit. He wasn't actually signing with his friends.
Yeah, that's great. So he actually knows people who stopped watching NASCAR because they banned the Confederate flag.
Right. So
that's kind of mind-boggling.
And now
to think that there's people out there that would do that.
Right, and now he's not one of those. He's going to stay loyal to NASCAR regardless. So
sure.
I mean, I'm glad he's forming his own opinion, no matter if his friends don't like it or not.
So we'll be giving Howard Cross here a call in just a bit.
I do want to get in a few others, football news related, before we get into Howard Cross. Another Tampa Tom sighting, apparently.
Tampa
Tom working out with Primetime's kid, who's a 5-star recruit.
Is he 5-star recruit?
5-star recruit quarterback.
Yeah.
Top 300.
Yeah, he's got like a dozen.
Entering his senior year.
Offers. Yeah.
Prime time.
He looks just like his dad, too. You see a picture of him?
And Brady says he will always be there for him. I mean, how kudos is that? From the GOAT. He even posted on Instagram.
So are you a fan now?
No. But I'm just saying, how kudos is that, though? I mean,
apparently he's done that to a lot of
quarterbacks.
Just NFL teammates and then who have kids. He'll come out and give his wisdom to the next generation of football fans or players. So
Yeah. I mean, if that's what first off, I want to know how many cameras are flying around when you. Helicopters are flying around. You got to think these news people are enjoying this, having to see a Tampa Tom sighting. You got
right,
got to
but
admit to it.
I also think it's in the Tampa market. It's not nowhere near as it would be if it was in L.A., New York, Chicago.
You still have that though.
You still have it, but it's not as. I think the media would go crazy if he went to Chicago. He was the Bears quarterback.
Oh, so you say ditch Trubisky, one of those that?
I'm just saying, like, imagine he's like, I want to take my talents to Chicago.
I think I'm hearing a little birdie that says you want to ditch Trubisky as their quarterback. So you're in favor of Foles then, huh?
That's a good. That's going to be a really good quarterback competition. That is. Apparently, Trubisky's terrible. I don't watch many Bears games.
There's tons of quarterback controversies going on this year. You got that one. You've got Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers. Even though they say it's not a competition.
I don't think that's not a competition.
I don't know. I mean, it could happen.
No.
You got Stidham and Boyer in New England. That Tucson.
Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, they said Boyer. But yeah, you have that one.
Sorry. You're right, Hoyer.
Yeah, no worries.
You got the one in Dallas situation.
I don't think, again.
Dalton and Prescott.
That's not a competition.
Yes, it is.
I disagree.
What if he sits out the whole year? Because he's not getting what.
Then it's not a competition.
Like, so.
It's Dalton's job. It's not that. How can you call that a competition if there's only one person?
I'm talking about for like next year though.
No, Dalton's not going to compete against.
What about the Chargers one? Tyrod Taylor and
the new guy
and Justin Herbert.
Your boy. No, I don't think. I think Herbert will play week 4 or 5 or so. Kind of get his feet wet.
And we're also forgetting about the controversy too down there in Jacksonville. You got Gardner Minshew and who else did they sign?
No, it's Minshew's job.
No, who else? I'm trying to think. Who else did they sign? They signed somebody else.
No, I don't think a quarterback.
No, they signed a quarterback.
I mean, I don't think it might just be a backup.
I don't know. They signed a pretty good one. Can't think of his name right now.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, you might be right.
Unfortunately, I can't think of it.
Yeah. But on that note, let's give Howard Cross a call. It's 9:30.
Yeah, let's give him a call.
He did say to give him a buzz now, so.
Hello, Howard Cross.
Hey, Howard Cross. Welcome to the Sports Bay Show with Byron and Eric. Thanks for joining us. We have Howard Cross, former NFL player on the line. Thanks for joining us, Howard.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing pretty well. Yeah, we're doing pretty well down here. How are things up there with you?
So far, so good. Can't complain.
Good. So we'll kind of get right into it. The first question I always typically like to ask is, your college days and obviously playing in Alabama, big time school, and what did you learn there, and what was your draft experience like, kind of transitioning into your first year in the NFL?
Well, playing at one of the major, what they call them, Big Five conference, you get to play against a lot of guys you wind up seeing later on in the NFL, and it was pretty cool. Guys like Cornelius Bennett and Derek Thomas were on my team, and playing against everybody from Eric Hill to Michael Brooks. In college, you just see a bunch of guys that are first-round picks, and you see them on kind of a every week basis, if not in practice. You're playing against them week in and week out, so it made the transition to the NFL, just the competition itself, kind of an easier transition or something more, like I say, something I was used to seeing on a day-to-day basis. The draft itself, was cool. I wasn't an early round draft pick. I was a mid-round draft pick. just relaxing, got the calls. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Let's go see what football's all about. And wound up in New Jersey.
Right, and it ended up there for quite some time.
Yeah, absolutely. 13 years, a lot of fun.
Right.
So, Byron here, I got my first question to you is, not many players get to say they finished their career with one team. What was it like spending your entire career with the New York Football Giants?
Well, I was still in the era just before they started the free agency. Everybody could change every few years. So I was like at the very beginning of that, at the end of my career. So I kind of like being with the Giants. I was, kind of a loyal person, enjoyed being with the team, had some offers to go other places, but just kind of wanted to stay here, kind of build a life here. Wanted to get married, kids and stuff. Had a good time, enjoyed it, built my life. My kids call this place home, so I'm still here.
Awesome.
Okay. So my second question to you is, you had two Hall of Fame coaches, Parcells and Coughlin. Who was the better one in your eyes that you played for?
Well, when Coughlin was in the team with me, Coughlin was the receivers coach. So Parcells was like this crazy tyrant of a guy that wouldn't work pretty much in today's football because everybody's so sensitive. But he was really getting after you all the time. And Coach Coughlin kind of embodied that same kind of spirit when he was working with his receivers. It was, what have you done for me lately? You got to be better than you were yesterday. And if you're satisfied, that means that you're getting lazy. You got to keep pushing yourself, and you were driving yourself constantly, trying to, just get a smile or a rise out of the guy. It was one of those things that the league was like back in the day. I think you see a lot of that in Coach Belichick today, even Coach Saban. They smile and laugh, but it's very rarely seen. Even after they win a championship, they start thinking about, how they can improve the team and what they're going to be doing the following season.
That's awesome. So I kind of want to get into the playing style today. You mentioned you thought Parcells couldn't be a coach today, just kind of how the league has evolved. Are you a fan of how the rules changes now than when you played? Do you think that's beneficial, or would you prefer to kind of see the way you played?
No, I think what I meant by that is that the league didn't evolve, the players evolved. I think that we've oversaturated, as we're doing now, the airways and TV and online. You can take football in so many different ways, and with shows like the training camp show on HBO, it's just so many things. I think that the people who are watching it now have bigger voices. Just when you're on Twitter, when you're on Instagram, when you're on all these different platforms, you can complain about what you're watching more. Right. And teams listen to it, teams hear it, players hear it, coaches hear it, owners hear it, and they worry about it. And I think that they've kind of not lost their way, but they just changed their sphere. It's a big sphere of influence of people who never played or would never commit to playing. And you listen to them because if someone says you did something wrong, it may sound like, okay, don't why are you listening to them? But when thousands and thousands of people start to say that you did something wrong, you start to pay attention, and you don't necessarily have to. I tell people this all the time, that I enjoy a good hot dog. It's one of my favorite things to do in the summertime, go out and put some on the grill. Right. Don't think I would like to go to a hot dog factory. I don't want to see them get made, but I enjoy the end product. And what happened to football is, I think that so many people want to see how they got made. So many people want to see the mind behind the coach. So many people want to see behind the curtain or under the hood, that when they look, they're like, oh, how could they do that? And it's like, but that's part of it. That's kind of like when we watched the Michael Jordan series, and he was so rough and tough, and he drug his team along to play. Some people look there and go like, he was a jerk. Other people look at it and go like, the guy won 6 rings. Right. Like, what is your commitment level to getting something done? I'd love to be a doctor, but I couldn't have made that commitment in my life to study like that, to be one.
Right. That's an awesome analogy with the hot dog thing. I like it.
So I see now you're currently still. Are you still currently a sideline reporter for Giants Radio?
Yeah, I do sideline for them. I do the TV show, Giants First and 10, and some other stuff when they have it on the app. We do as much as possible for them.
Perfect. Well, you played in 2 Super Bowls, and I believe you've called 2 more of the Giants Super Bowls when you were with the Giants Radio. Out of the 4 Super Bowls you were part of, player and broadcaster, which one was the most memorable Super Bowl win or loss?
I think it's pretty easy to say the one we won in 1990 was probably the most memorable Super Bowl win. Nowadays, we're so used to hearing about Afghanistan and Iraq and wherever else in the world that we're in conflict of what we're doing and or where we're withdrawing from or something. When I was growing up, that had passed. It was like Vietnam and nothing. You didn't hear about anything. There was no 24-hour news cycle, so there was nothing going on. And all of a sudden, in 1990, that Super Bowl year, we were going to war in Iraq. And it was a big to-do, and everybody was like, holy smokes. And it seemed like our country, we were talking about it in locker rooms. We were, weren't being asked about it in interviews, but we were all talking about it. And we go play a Super Bowl that year. Whitney Houston sings the national anthem. Both teams are red, white, and blue, being the Bills and the Giants. It was just a really cool, crazy experience. And then, the game was won in the last second by a missed field goal. That's kind of one of those things that you never forget. All the moments of it. I think the next Super Bowl was we played the Ravens, and we lost. But it was a great experience. I was a lot older. Had caught another ball in the game, so gave me some kind of useless record of the longest time between catches in the Super Bowl. But it was exciting. Then to go back as a broadcaster and watch guys like the Road Warriors of 2007 when Eli and those guys won all those games on the road to take themselves to the Super Bowl to beat the Patriots that were like the unbeatable Patriots, and they won. It was pretty crazy. Then come back 3 or 4 years later and do it again. It was just kind of special to watch those guys, get to win the Super Bowl, compete that hard, watching Eli, take a beating all year long, and then somehow, some way, standing there long enough to win a game for him. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I was going to actually bring that up to you. Like, since you were there as a broadcaster, take us through that play. What did you think of him maneuvering out of a sack and then that David Tyree catch, that infamous catch? Take us through that. What was going through your head?
It's one of those things where it's a big-time moment in the game where if the Patriots can get a sack, they can pretty much almost close the game out. And Eli somehow, some way, stays on his feet. They're yanking and pulling on him. And then he sees Tyree. Tyree's open early. Like early in the play before everybody grabs him, Tyree's wide open. But when they start to grab him, everybody's like, oh, my God, they're going to sack him. He still throws the ball at Tyree. But by that time, Harris was all over him and pulling on him and trying to get him down. And the funny thing about Tyree, always in practice, he didn't catch a ball. Like he dropped everything. You couldn't have glued it to him. He just couldn't catch anything. He makes that play of that game. It becomes one of the most famous catches ever in Super Bowl history.
Right. That's funny how things work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so what is your take on now to most recent topics? Because you hear this a lot, even when Eli played. Even with those 2 Super Bowl wins against us, do you think Eli Manning, with his record as a QB, which is about 500 QB, record QB, do you think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame when that time comes?
I think when they look back, I think he will probably slide down in the next 5 years with guys like the Mahomes out there. He's gonna be swinging it around. Probably Deshaun Watson will start to catch up to him. But Eli right now is inside the top 7 or 8 quarterbacks in history in passing yards and touchdowns. He threw a lot of interceptions, and the win-loss record his to win-loss record. But Eli played a lot of time. No offense to the offensive line, without support. He took a beating year in and year out, and still throwing for basically 4,000 yards a season. That's just hard to do. Sometimes his receiving core wasn't there. Sometimes, when the tight end's injured, the 3 starting receivers are injured, and you got 4 guys out there that you just signed off the street. Eli's still playing. Everybody's going in and out of the game. He's still playing, and he would get surgeries after the season to repair whatever he had broken during the season and come back and do it again. And I don't think, if you don't know him, if you weren't around him, he couldn't play golf for a while because he had an ankle surgery. He couldn't do, he had to do something with his ribs and his shoulder. It was just things that were happening to him because he was getting so beat up that, they're like, oh, he's so bad. He's getting hit in his second step of a 3-step drop. So I don't know how bad he could have been. It's just, he had to play through what he had to play through. And the best thing about him, unlike most guys, you didn't hear a word out of him. You didn't hear, I wish these guys could do it better. You didn't hear, I wish we could get some blocking. Or didn't hear, if I could get some help on the outside, or if the defense stopped him, he'd always say, if I could just play a little better, I got to do this or I got to do that. He took all the responsibility on himself. He passed off the wins to his teammates, and he took on the responsibility of the losses as it was his responsibility solely, regardless if the defense never stopped anybody. It was like, I got to make some more plays. I got to get us the best plays so we can, show some progress. It was all about, him taking on all the problems and, congratulating everybody on the wins. I thought he was probably one of the classiest guys you'll ever meet.
Right. Yeah, I think he's a borderline Hall of Famer. I do.
Borderline, I like that. He's a Hall of Famer. You got guys in the Hall of Fame that play quarterback that don't have the stats Eli has.
That's where I see him. You beat the so-called GOAT twice, the only one to ever do that.
Yeah.
In the biggest game of them all. So,
Brady is the GOAT.
Thank you.
Brady plays with, don't want to sound, I don't want to be politically incorrect, but he plays with 3 midgets and 1 tall guy all for his whole career. So it's kind of funny to watch how he's able to get it done year in and year out. Quarterbacks do it different ways. If Brady played for the Giants, Brady would not have played as long. He would be done. Because there's no way you let that many people go on a guy, and he can stay in there that long. If Eli played for the Patriots, I'm sure that, with Belichick there and Josh and those guys, he would have had a better career. Because they kept our offensive line in front of him and kept him upright most of the time. So, and you're playing in the AFC East. That's probably, I think they played through God knows how many quarterbacks and God knows how many coaches for the other teams, with no consistency there. In every era, you have a great team, and the great team usually has a bad division that you're playing in. When the Niners were doing it, I don't have any idea who the Niners played against those years. They were making a run. When Dallas made their great run, the Eagles were bad, the Giants were bad, and the Redskins were bad. So the Cowboys were just running roughshod over the league because they didn't have any opposition within their own division.
Right. That's a good point. I guess before we let you go, I want to ask you. You have some of your children are really good athletes themselves. So how has that been, watching them grow into being great athletes, just like you were?
Well, both kids did very well in high school sports. My daughter should have played anything. She wound up playing lacrosse or made the varsity golf team, and they won state her final year.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, you can play golf the whole time. She's like, come on, Dad. I'm like, okay, just saying. And my son, he just gravitated towards, no matter what I tried to get him to do, he just gravitated towards football. And he wound up getting a scholarship to Notre Dame, so he's playing football out there. So it's fun to. It's like the greatest thing for you as a person is to have a child and to have a child and grow up, and then no matter what you've done in your life, your children's accomplishments seem so much bigger to you when you're watching them, and it was just really cool to watch him. Like watching him play in high school All the stuff he did was like phenomenal. Going to see him play in a few games in Notre Dame, just hearing him call his name when he makes a play, phenomenal. Playing golf, even now, my daughter, I have to gamble with her, and I got to take strokes from her because I'm like, hey, look, I'm like, you're gonna beat me here. And so it's like, so I play from the tips, and she plays from the tees right in front of me. She won't go all the way up. She goes, I don't want to beat you that bad, Dad. I'm like, okay, you can just play back here with me if you want. And she goes like, soon. And I'm like, okay. So it's like, it's just, you want your kids to be great. You want them to be happy. You want them to have everything they can have in life. And when they're doing it, you just hope that they keep their heads about them and continue to be great.
So then So then back to your son who's at Notre Dame now. Is there a preference of a team you want him to see get drafted? Your opinion? I know you don't care ultimately where he ends up when he does get drafted, if he does, like, where would you like to see him get drafted?
I really don't care. He's at Notre Dame. Like, he has the likelihood of owning the team, going and getting an education from Notre Dame with that alumni base. Right. Playing for a team would be great for him, but if he does great in school, the sky's the limit. Like I tell a lot of kids that, I tell them all the time, like who's the highest paid athlete? They'll name somebody. Like back in the day, it was like Michael Jordan makes $30 million a year. I think guys are now making up to $40 million a year. But who wouldn't want to make $40 million a year? Their way raises their head. Like, that's pretty cool. But who signs that guy's check? I'm like, that's the guy you want to be. Huh. I said, that guy's not jumping. That guy's not hitting any balls. That guy's not taking any hits. He ain't got to make a free throw in the last second. He's just sitting in the box and watching. Right. That's the guy you want to be. You want to be the guy who sits in the box and signs a check. You have the ability to be that guy. In the world we live in, with the right career path, you have the ability to be that person. I shouldn't say that guy, but you have the ability to be that person, and that's more likely than for you to be, Joe Montana or Tom Brady or Michael Strahan or Lawrence Taylor or Michael Jordan, LeBron James. You can name it. Any of these athletes you want. Right. You have the ability to be one of the 32 owners, one of the 30 owners, one of the however many owners from one of the other teams, just by playing your cards right and grinding and working through your education.
Well said. That's awesome. Well said on that. Mm-hmm. We want to thank you for joining taking a few minutes to join us. Love to have you on the show again. We can talk some Giants football. When the season starts. But yeah, thank you for joining us, Mr. Cross.
I appreciate you guys. You guys have a good one.
Thank you. You and too. Hope to hear from you when the season actually starts.
All right, guys. Have a great one.
Have a good night.
You too.
So, Howard Cross.
Very insightful information from when he played. I mean, he's called 2 Super Bowls, been to 2 as a player, and I sort of figured that he would probably say the one that he actually won would be the most memorable, not only just because he won it, but because the country went into war that year.
Well, so when he was telling that story, what it brought me to was when Tanyan Sturts, who we had on Friday, when he talked about his most memorable moment was post 9/11 pitching in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah,
that was his and kind of the world events. World events, they shape sports events and vice versa. They go hand in hand, and I actually can say that's one of the beautiful things about sports.
And I liked it, and the reason why I wanted to ask him about Parcells is, I liked his take on Parcells, especially with the nowadays. Belichick is a disciple of him. He's the only one, and Saban is too. And so is Peyton, actually, too. Peyton's another one. Yeah. And you don't see many coaches like them anymore that are surviving in the league. And as he said, it's because the game has changed because of the players. It's interesting to see how different that was when he played, because when he was playing, you had badass coaches. You had Jimmy Johnson, you had Parcells, you had Shula at the end of his career. You had Walsh also ending his career. I mean, it's a who's who. You had Shanahan starting up, for example, too. I mean,
Yeah.
and Holmgren. So it's definitely hearing him talk about how hard it was playing for Parcells, but he enjoyed it. You know,
Yeah,
it's a blessing.
I don't know the numbers, but it seems like head coaches, their lifespan, so to speak, is much shorter nowadays than it was back then. I don't know if that's true to any degree.
It kind of is when you see all the coaching changes.
Right, and I think that kind of goes off of what he said. You know, there's social media. There's all these eyes on everyone. And look, if a team does really bad for a year and a half, you know, fans and taking the social media and wanting that player or that coach fired, and there's a lot of pressure then from the owners and then front office to fire them. So I think that has a lot to do with it.
And I'm glad he got his insight too when he was at that Super Bowl, when he called that Super Bowl with the Tyree catch.
Right.
He said the look on his face. And I'm sure, just like everybody else, everybody was in shock at how he said Tyree was the one who never got a pass in practice. And just hearing stuff like that was like, wow. And to know that he actually got that pass in the Super Bowl, the biggest game of them all.
Right, that's funny.
But I did also enjoy the talk too. It's been a debate forever since Manning's played and Manning's retired now. I do like the debate. I myself,
he brought up good points, and after hearing what he said, Eli is a Hall
he's
of
borderline.
Famer.
To me, he's borderline still.
He thought that was funny when I said borderline. He is. I mean,
he is honestly.
He's a Hall of
He
Famer.
is. 500 record, passing yards aren't really there. Touchdowns and interceptions are about the same. I mean, the only two he's got going for him is the Super Bowl wins against the
No, he
GOAT.
has passing yards
Against the GOAT that you like to call him.
Well, I didn't start. I definitely did not start saying that. I copied everyone else who says it.
Well, obviously, everybody else calls him the GOAT. He's really not,
Right.
but that's my opinion. I'm
Right.
sticking to it.
All right. So, any parting words here?
No, I do just want to ask you.
Okay.
I do want to ask you. I guess there was a fight last night. Did you at all hear about it or watch it?
I watched the two main cards. It was not a big event. The card was.
Yeah, I really didn't see anybody.
There wasn't any belts on the line. It was pretty poor card.
That's what I'm saying.
But
honestly.
But no, so July 11th though, that's a pay-per-view event, and there's going to be three belts on the line. The welterweight division.
Yeah, and did you hear where it's going to be?
Yes, the Fight
Island, Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, Yaz Island.
I saw it. I saw the photos of where. I mean, it's awesome. I saw photos of where the octagon's going to be, right there on the beach.
No, it's not right on the beach.
It's close to it.
It's close to it, yeah. But no, there's the poster of it. It's like it has it right on the beach.
Good for Dana.
Not going to.
Good
be
for
right
Dana
on the
to
beach,
try and get his international fighters over there. Good for Dana since they can't come yet with the travel ban. But good for Dana.
No, yeah, sounds like they pumped a lot of money into this. And look, those are going to be big fights. July 11th and then August 1st is going. A few other. Holly Holm is coming back. She's fighting August 1st. Which August doesn't seem too far away. It does, but it isn't.
But before we leave you off on this, I want to give one more in the UFC though. I want to ask you your opinion on this, since you do watch more UFC than I do, because I don't really know any of the fighters anymore like I used to. What are you hearing? What do you think about these fighters coming out saying that Dana White's not paying them enough? What's your take on that?
I think it's long overdue. I thought years ago there'll be, boxing was kind of ruined because fighters wanted more money, and I think boxing took a downhill turn because of the arguments between promoters and just money, dollars. UFC, I thought it would happen years ago. It hasn't really happened yet. But so yeah, I think there's an argument there. There's a case there. You don't want to see it, but look, UFC fighters, they don't get paid that much. I mean,
7-figure, that's it.
So a lot of these fighters, they only get paid if they fight.
And they get paid only by fight. And I heard this, I don't know if this was back in the day, but I don't know if it still is. If you lose 3 fights in a row, you're gone in their schedule. That's what I heard.
Not necessarily, but well, yeah, I would say I can't name a fighter who has a 3-game losing streak or 3-fight losing streak game. So yeah, there's a lot of pressure there.
And it's not the only reason why I brought this up was because McGregor, who is the Favre, I literally heard it's true after I heard JP say this. He literally is the Favre of the fighting game. What's now his 3rd or 4th time retiring, and now he says it's because of money. But he's not the only one that's comparing his other fighters. That's why I brought it up. And it's I mean, maybe this is why you see these cards being trashy as is. You don't see big fights hardly anymore. Maybe that's why, because all these good fighters are complaining. Maybe.
Well, John Jones,
He isn't
fighting. He isn't fighting.
He's in trouble now again.
Yeah, there's a lot there. Yeah, I think there is going to be a labor dispute between the fighters and UFC. Yeah,
I hope not. I mean, I do still like the sport, even though I don't watch it that much. But, do you have any final thoughts before we go off? And then we'll give them all our social media to follow us by.
No, I thought it was a pretty good show. Howard Cross was great, bringing back little memories there with the weird catch and his giant days, and yeah, it was a good show. What about you?
Same. I mean, this is why we're here. Opinions. Glad Devin joined us for his own take.
Sure.
You know, that's why we're here. And definitely Howard Cross for bringing back memories there of his career and what went down in 90, the Tyree catch, everything. So, but yeah, follow us on Facebook at Sports Space Show with Byron and Eric. We have our Facebook page up and running. Our YouTube page as well, the Sports Space Show, Byron and Eric, always running live right now, as you see. Our Anchor app, which is broadcasted through all podcasting apps of Apple, Google, Spotify, you name it, all of them out there. Also, Sports Space Show with Byron and Eric. So just look at the palm tree logo and you know that's us.
That would be
But it was a good show.
Who do we got Friday? Do we know?
I don't know.
who
It's
we
a
got.
mystery.
So
mystery.
stay tuned. Have a good week, and have a good night. We will see you Friday next week.